The first 50 games of the season are in the books, and today we dip into the numbers as to why the Cardinals have shocked the critics thus far here in 2025.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. Follow me on X at JD Sports Radio, the podcast on X at LO_Cardinals. We're on YouTube where you can like, subscribe, and comment. Hit that notification button so you don't miss out on anything that we post. Also available on TikTok and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation, giving the best fans of baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. So the Cardinals have been one of the biggest surprises in the league. Okay, they are. Through the first 50 games of this season, you know this. Nobody was really expecting this. I will have plenty of everydayers who say, no, I told you these guys are good. We just got some quotes from an article on The Athletic from Paul Goldschmidt, first baseman for the Yankees, having a hell of a season in New York, by the way, who says to Ken Rosenthal, they're like, I told you guys that is a good team there. He's like, even though I'm not there, they're good. It's not an exact quote, but paraphrasing. But that was the gist of it. You saw the preseason power rankings. People expected the Cardinals to be one of the worst teams in the league. Something that I fought against. I was like, I just don't see them being this bad. I don't know where everybody's getting the idea that they're just a terrible team altogether. But I could see why nobody was picking them to be in the playoffs. You know, I totally understood that. Many had them finishing last in the division. Yes, even behind the powerhouse that is the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know if they just had Skeens on the brain that he was going to pitch every game. I don't know. I don't know why people thought that. Although I do have a heart and I do feel bad for Jared Jones, their pitcher, done for the season. That sucks for them. And I'm sure it's going to get very annoying because it's already happening, but people are already starting to talk about Paul Skeens getting traded. So it's got to be very annoying for Pirates fans to be sitting here in the end of May and have Paul Skeens trade rumors already, like in full force. Like national publications are all like, should they be trading him? Here's some stuff they could get or whatever. Like, it's what? I'm sure it's something we could talk about, but maybe we can revisit that at some point or another. You know, if you had Skeens and your franchise was in the shape that the Pirates are right now, would you try to deal him if you could get back like a Juan Soto-like return like he did, like the Nationals did with the Padres? Would you go for it? Would that turn things around? Something to discuss. But as a Cardinals fan, I hope they don't, because the Cardinals beat him every time, it seems like. So keep them around, Pittsburgh. But things have really gone well for the Cardinals, right? They're 27-23, 3 games back of the Cubs, who have been outstanding in the first third of this season. They're 30-20, tied for the 5th best record in baseball. Give it up to the Cubs, man. They've been good. The Cardinals' 9-game winning streak is where things really took a turn for the better. Obviously, the team was kind of, you know, they were under 500, and people are wondering, like, oh, is there anything else in there that we can, you know, squeeze out of you guys to be a little bit better? And it's not that they were playing like really bad baseball, but, you know, things they weren't clicking yet, really. You know, Ollie was still trying to figure out who we can and can't trust in the bullpen, which is obviously a big deal. They were making roster moves to figure out what were the best pieces to kind of complete the puzzle of the position players. But over the last 20 games, the Cardinals are 14-6, tied for the 2nd best record in the league with the Tigers and the Twins, and behind only the Phillies, who are 15-5. And if you remember, the Cardinals took 2 of 3 from the Phillies in Philly like 12 days ago. So what has made this team so good here early on in the season? It's a number of things, really. The defense cannot be overlooked. Props to the defense. Best defensive team in baseball so far this season. It's been awesome, right? If there's something that Cardinals fans really love to hang their hat on, it's usually fundamentals and defense. And that's what you're getting out of this team. The defense has been really, really good. But if we break it down to just like offense and pitching, the two big main categories other than, defense, base running, all of that's great. I get it. But offensively, this team as a whole has just been so much better than people anticipated. A big high five to Brant Brown, who the Cardinals wisely brought in. He's been exactly what they needed. And the starting pitching has also been much better than I think people realize. Like up and down the rotation. Like they've all been pretty darn good. Even a certain somebody who we're going to talk about a little bit later. But I want to start with the offense because last year, obviously, it was a very frustrating year for this group who, outside of Paul Goldschmidt, has mostly the same names and faces from 2024. Cardinals are batting .263 right now. Second in the league behind the Dodgers. Okay, who saw that coming? Literally, who saw that coming? I mean, they just got star after star after star in their lineup. Was watching their game against Arizona on Tuesday night when they went to extra innings. It was like, how do you beat this team? Ohtani, Freeman, Betts, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith, Tommy Edman, Max Muncy. Hyun-Sung Kim is now up with them. It's just crazy how deep their lineup is. Pitching injuries has really been the only setback for them. But you look at the Dodgers lineup with all those MVPs and all that star power, and to see the Cardinals right behind them in batting average is pretty awesome. Cardinals are tied for third in the league in hits with the Phillies, who obviously have a lot of stars as well. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm, JT Realmuto, just another gang of studs there. The two teams ahead of them in hits are the Cubs and the Dodgers, who have 5 and 4 more hits than the Cardinals. The Cardinals are second in the league in doubles behind the team that's at Busch Stadium this weekend, the Arizona Diamondbacks. A lot of speed on the Diamondbacks team. 97 doubles so far for the Cardinals. Diamondbacks got 100. They're tied for 7th in the league with the Red Sox in runs scored with 240. Leader in the clubhouse is the Cubs, 293. Then it's the Dodgers, Yankees, Tigers, Diamondbacks, Phillies. Cardinals are 5th in OBP at 334. Yankees lead at 343, followed by Dodgers, Phillies, Cubs. OPS, they're 8th at 738 behind the usual suspects again. Yankees, Dodgers, D-backs, Cubs, Phillies, Tigers, Red Sox. A bit lower in home runs and slugging, but they aren't a power-hitting team. That's not the Cardinals' game, and I'm okay with that. 19th in home runs, 11th in slugging, but they're one of the best teams in not striking out, which really upsets me when the swing and miss and this watching pitches go by happen. Like I would rather you put the ball in play. 6th lowest strikeout total in the league, 13th in walks. So they put the ball in play more times than not, which is working because they lead the league in batting average on balls in play at 310. You put it in play and good things can happen. This roster may not have the names and the money attached to the names that people around the league are going to recognize, but the Cardinals have put together a lineup that doesn't have a lot of holes in it. And no lineup, not even the Dodgers, have a complete lineup without some weak spots. It's unrealistic to not have a couple of guys who aren't as strong offensively, but offer other things to warrant a starting spot in the lineup. Ivan Herrera has been an absolute animal so far this year, an absolute animal. And you wonder where his numbers might be if he hadn't missed a month with a bone bruise. 417, 5 dingers, 21 ribbies in 18 games. On pace for 45 home runs and 189 RBIs over 162 games. Ridiculous. Wilson Contreras has come to life since that horrid start. Leads the team in ribbies and batting tape eaten. And of course, Brendan Donovan, the GOAT. Batting .323, 3rd in the league in hits. Leads the team in hitting, OBP, slugging, and OPS. And he's been outstanding at second base on defense. You've had plenty of others chipping in. Newt being healthy at the top of the order has been huge. Mason Wynn moving to the number 2 spot has been huge. Victor Scott has been awesome in pretty much every way you can imagine. Pajes and Pozo holding it down at catcher while Herrera was out. Nato has had a few moments here and there and has been great at third defensively. Burley has gotten hot recently. The Cardinals' offense is real. The pitching has also been a big part of this winning formula, with one guy in particular stepping up, has flipped the script in 2025. We will delve into those stats coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website. It's packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right. Plus, they've got a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands. You're going to find exactly what you need. And the bonus is it's going to get delivered to you coast to coast fast. You order, boom, coming your way. And if you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service. You'll always be able to talk to a real person. No hit the hash button, do this, do that from some automated voice. Real people talking to you, helping you through your issue. And for trade pros, if you're looking for an extra edge, they've got a free Trade Master program, which offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line. You're going to get free shipping and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Get on it. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM. Start ordering your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order at supplyhouse.com. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Leave your comments on YouTube as well as on X anytime you want. That feedback is always welcome and encouraged. We need to do like a fan feedback episode here real soon. It's been, I would say, like 90% positive. There's still some people out there questioning things, which is fine. 50 games is not the entire season. I get it. You can still question if this is a real team that can really compete. Or is this all just, kind of a nice couple of weeks that's making us feel good about ourselves and can come crashing down? It might. But there were a lot of questions coming into the season about the starting pitching. Sonny Gray, is he heading in the wrong direction at his age? Can Eric Fetty become the guy he was in Chicago last year? We saw little flashes of it after the trade was made. But then you go and see what Tommy Edman did with the Dodgers, and you're like, duh! Damn you, Mo. But, what can Eric Fetty bring to the table? Was he a flash in the pan last year? Will Steven Matz stay healthy? Where do Michael McGreevy and Matthew Liberatore fit into this puzzle? Does Miles Mikolas have to pitch for us anymore? People wanted him DFA'd. They wanted him cut. They wanted him out of here. All very valid questions, right? And so far, Sonny Gray has maintained his status as a very good starting pitcher. All right. Is he a typical number one on a staff that has World Series aspirations? No. We know that. You know that. We don't have to argue about it anymore. But he's very good, and he's got a lot of swing and miss, gets a lot of strikeouts. That's a positive. Something that there's not a lot of that on this staff. Eric Fetty has been very good in most starts with the occasional hiccup here and there. But I would say overall, Eric Fetty's been very impressive. I've enjoyed watching him out there. Steven Matz has stayed healthy and has filled that sixth man swing pitcher role perfectly. Andre Palante, I'm going to give him a solid C+ so far this year. Not great, but he's solid. And again, the idea that you're going to have like 5 Cy Young Award winners up and down your rotation, it's just not real. There's going to be some struggles when you get to 4 and 5 in your rotation. That's a normal thing for most teams. And I think Andre Palante is pretty good for a 4 or 5 in your roster and on your rotation. So not a lot of complaints there. But I know we wanted to see Michael McGreevy from the get-go. Was sent to Memphis because the team decided to make the move to bring Matthew Liberatore into this rotation, a move that was questionable at the time and now has proven to be a brilliant move by the Cardinals. Group effort, whether it was something that Mo came up with, Chaim Bloom came up with, Ali, whoever, wherever the idea came from that this was the thing that they should be doing, bravo to you. Because he's been incredible. And as great as Libby has been, and we just recently talked about him kind of, in full detail about how good he's been. And he's been outstanding. One of the biggest stories that I believe is getting overlooked about this rotation is the turnaround that Miles Mikolas has made since getting his pitches splattered all over Fenway Park on Sunday Night Baseball against the Boston Red Sox. Remember how grody that was? A dark and embarrassing night of baseball for the Cardinals, who had lost Ivan Herrera to an injury the day before. Could have been the beginning of a very big downward spiral for this team, but it didn't happen, did it? Since that night, Miles Mikolas has given up more than 3 earned runs, or has not, I should say, has not given up more than 3 earned runs in any of his 7 starts. Miles Mikolas' ERA over his last 7 starts is 2.17 and has a record of 3-1. Who saw that coming? Normally a spot in the rotation that you watch kind of peeking through your fingers like you're watching a scary movie, where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't watch. What's going to happen? Is now a spot that, dare I say, you feel a little less anxious about, a little less worried about when you see Mikolas' name pop up on that probable starter list. I fully expect Miles Mikolas to have a bad game here soon. It's going to happen eventually. You know why? Because it happens to everyone at some point. He's a pitch to contact guy, like most of these starters are, other than Libby and Sonny. So there will be a day that the opponent is going to find some holes where balls are going to land. Some are going to go over the wall. It's just going to happen. And we'll get there's the real Miles Mikolas people. They're going to pop up. And that's fine. It really is. He hasn't been very good the last couple of years, right? I've been somebody who's been very hard on Miles Mikolas because I'm just like, because you see how good he can be from time to time when he hits his spots, but when he doesn't, and when that ball floats over to the heart of the plate, he gets shammered. But last 7 starts, he's avoided that, and it's been awesome to watch. Like seeing it in person behind home plate in that doubleheader in Cincinnati was awesome. Like watching him just dot and just pitch, Doesn't take a lot of brains to come out and throw 102 and just try to throw it past everybody. Miles Mikolas has to pitch to win. And so far, the last 7 games at least, things have been clicking quite well. And they've been using him. Ollie's been really smart using him. Like, he doesn't let him go too long, even though he might be pitching well. He's not like, let's see if we could squeeze another inning out of no. He pulls him, and then he brings in Matz. And it's been a really good 1-2 punch that they've been teaming up together to complete these games, and it's been working. So keep going. Keep doing it, Now, the lack of depth behind these guys, these 6 guys that have been the main starters so far, is something that was actually brought up by the Athletics' Ken Rosenthal, and it certainly warrants some attention. It's not something that I'm going to lose my mind over right now, but Ken was just talking in this article saying that the Cardinals currently have only 1 player on the IL, Zach Thompson, who's on the 60-day with that torn lat, but he kind of compares him to the Phillies, who also have only 1 player on the IL in Aaron Nola, who's got a sprained right ankle out of nowhere after the Cardinals destroyed him. It was the ankle. The difference is that Ken points out is the Phillies go 6 deep in their rotation when Nola's healthy, 7 if you count Nick Abel, who's their new prospect. He just shut out the Pirates for 6 innings on Sunday in his debut. And then they got Andrew Painter, who's one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. Points out that the Cardinals wisely employed that 6-man rotation in April to preserve their starters. That includes Mikolas and Sonny Gray, who are not getting any younger. But outside of lefty Steven Matz, who made 2 starts in April, their only depth option is Michael McGreevy, is what Ken points out. Pitched 5 2/3 scoreless against the Mets before going back to AAA. And he's just pointing it out. He's like, hey, just saying that's the scary part about this Cardinals start, as surprising as it is and how good it's been, that if there is a spot that you might worry a little bit, it's about depth at starting pitching. Because the odds are that this starting rotation isn't going to stay healthy. It's very slim. It's just not something that happens very often for anybody. The Cardinals stayed relatively healthy last year too, which helped the cause. and allow them to have a 83-win season. But the hope is that Quinn Matthews, top pitching prospect, might be a piece that maybe they can turn to later on. He's returning from the IL, had that shoulder soreness, made his first rehab start in the rookie-level Florida Complex League back on May 19th. 2 innings, 1 hit, struck out 4. Definitely a positive to see him doing well in that rehab start, but you're going to be very careful with the crown jewel pitching prospect in your organization. So you don't want any setbacks for him and risk anything. Sokoa Roby is a guy that we have brought up, looked pretty good in the spring. He's at AA right now. He's pitched well there. 2-2, 3.09 ERA, 41 strikeouts in 35 innings. Just had an 11 strikeout game recently. I would assume the Cardinals would like to see him progress to AAA before even thinking about bringing him up to the major league. So he's a ways down the road. So McGreevy is the guy. He's the next guy up if something goes wrong. Gordy Graceffo, I think. Obviously, Steven Matz would be a guy that they would put into the rotation as well if something were to happen. But for now, it's not something that you got to really worry about. It's just something to think about. Just enjoy the health and appreciate the job these guys have done so far. Cardinal starters top 10 in ERA at 3.65. They're number 6 in innings pitched as a whole at 276. They got the 7th fewest walks at 81. Fetty has been the bad guy in this one. He's got 25 of those 81 walks already. So obviously something he's working on trying to clean up. Batting average against top 10, 237. The whip is top 10 at 1.18. They've given up the 3rd fewest home runs at 26. Give them credit. Give them credit. They've been getting it done. Dusty Blake and company getting it done. They are going to be tested in this series, though. Arizona Diamondbacks in town this weekend at Busch. We'll talk about that coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Thank you again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. It's every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. The Diamondbacks in town with one of the more talented rosters in the league. If they weren't stuck in the NL West, I think more people would be talking about them because they're kind of getting buried out there in the West because you've got the Dodgers and you've got the Padres. The Giants have been a really good story so far. But the Diamondbacks are really good too. This is not some pushover team by any means. I like them a lot. Led by their right fielder, Corbin Carroll. I have an absolute man crush on Corbin Carroll for fantasy purposes. Just everything he does, it's great. 278, 15 homers, 34 ribbies, 9 stolen bases, 6 triples. Dude's a stud. Absolutely electric and can beat you in so many ways. Very similar to what Riley Green is for the Detroit Tigers. Now, Carroll offers a lot more speed, more dangerous on the base pass than Riley Green, but does a lot of stuff, right? And you saw what Riley Green did to the Cardinals in that series against the Tigers. So got to keep him in check as best as you can. Easier said than done, I know, but he's the guy. He is the straw that stirs that milkshake for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Another name familiar to Cardinal fans, Eugenio Suarez, terrorizes pitching staffs. He's very streaky. That's the one thing about Eugenio is if you find him when he's in a funk, yay. But you catch him when he's on one of his heaters, and it's big trouble. 219 average this year, but 14 home runs, 38 RBIs. Had a 4 home run game already this season. Last 7 games hitting 320 with 2 home runs and 10 RBIs. So kind of swinging it well at the moment. So be careful with Eugenio. Don't let him beat you with the long ball. He likes to yank the ball down the line, and that's how he puts him out of the park. So keep an eye on him. You've seen him when he was with the Reds for many, many years, so you know what you're getting into. Ketel Marte, slow start to the season, still one of the more electric and more dangerous guys out there. Hopefully he doesn't get hot while he's in town. Geraldo Perdomo has been excellent. Josh Naylor was a nice pickup from Cleveland to replace Christian Walker at first base. So a lot of good stuff in their lineup. Pitching matchups. You've got Mikolas against former Cardinals prospect Zach Gallen on Friday. Gallen has not been the guy we're used to so far this season. I don't want to say he hasn't been good, But he hadn't been the Zach Gallen we've all come to be used to over the years, at least not compared to what you're used to, right? 3-5, 5.14 ERA. Obviously, not even close to what he's normally at. 25 walks this year. So has had problems, throwing strikes from time to time. So don't help him if he's wild. 10 home runs against as well. 4 of those came in his last start, by the way, but 5 of the home runs of the 10 that have been hit on fastballs. The cutter has been hammered for a 467 batting average against. He got lit up by the Rockies in his last start. Not in Colorado, mind you, at Arizona. 6 runs, 8 hits, 4 home runs in 5 innings. 2 of those came in the first inning, both on fastballs. First pitch of the game, home run, and then it was a single, and then it was another home run. Those were the first 3 hitters against him. So those 2 were on fastballs. The other 2 were in the 3rd inning on sliders. But if I'm the Cardinals, I'm keying in on his fastballs and cutters and just try to lay off the breaking ball. Try not to get behind in the count where you go chasing that stuff. Merrill Kelly will be against Matthew Liberatore on Saturday. That's a solid pitching matchup. Kelly's been excellent. 5-2, 3.26 ERA. He had 1 real bad outing against the Yankees, which has made his numbers not as sparkling as they should be. 9 runs on 3 2/3 innings against the Yankees. But outside of that, just amazing. He's been tough. Opponents hitting just 201 against him this year. Incredible. And then on Sunday, you got Brandon Pfaadt against Sonny Gray. Pfaadt is 7-3 this year. Does he still lead the league in wins? He might. Let me double check this for you guys real quick, just to be sure, because he was with 7 wins in first. Let's double check. Yeah, still first. Brandon Pfaadt was 7. Hunter Brown, Max Fried, Jorge Lopez, the reliever for Washington's got 6. Casey Mize, Robbie Ray, Carlos Rodon, all have 6. But there he is. Brandon Pfaadt with 7 so far on the year. 3.81 ERA. Had a really good April. Really good start to the season. May has not been great for Brandon Pfaadt. 1 good start, 3 not so great starts. 2-2 in May is the ERA at 5.57. So certainly a winnable game, even though he leads the league in wins. He's hittable for sure. Merrill Kelly's going to be really, really tough. And hopefully Friday night, Zach Gallen is still trying to figure out how to throw a fastball and a cutter. And the Cardinals can take advantage of that. Bad news for some fans. Tonight's game is on Apple TV. Just a heads up. So if you're looking for it later and you're like, what the hell is this game? It's on Apple tonight. So that's the rundown of the weekend. I hope to have another episode for you coming up on Saturday. And we'll discuss Friday night's game. Saturday's an afternoon game. So after Saturday's game is done, hopefully we'll get to chat about those 2 games before we finish up the weekend and then start the week fresh. But thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio, TikTok and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. Like, subscribe on YouTube. Help our love and our channel for the Cardinals. I said that backwards. Our channel and our love for the Cardinals. Help it grow. We're trying to reach 13,000 subscribers now. So making the push for that. Could use each and every one of you that has not subscribed to go ahead, just click that little button. It's not going to hurt you. Doesn't cost you anything. Very simple. And that way we'll be in your feed. That way you can always find us. You're the best fans of baseball for a reason. I will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.